If you knew morning woo, then you know why I feel blue. Without morning, my morning woo. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning woo. Morning woo, morning woo. Oh, how my heart yearns for you. Oh, morning, my morning woo. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning woo. Morning woo, morning woo. Pretty, 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 pretty morning woo. Oh, morning, my morning woo. Oh, well, I love you and I need you, morning woo. I love you.
Happy Devils Saturday. Rise and shine, New Jersey Devils fans. It is the Morning Woo. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. As the New Jersey Devils are on a 7-game heater right now after beating the San Jose Sharks last night at the Rock 3-1. Dougie the Taylor Hamilton, 2 power play goals, 1 assist, first star of the game. Downtown Connor Brown adding the empty net. Hello, Tom. Morning woo to you all, he says. I see Durango Steve as well. Mike Rossi, happy Devil Saturday. Wow. 7-game heater. The Devils are the hottest team in the NHL with 7 regulation wins and, well, 14 solid points. And now they are going to be playing the Colorado Avalanche home and home series starting at tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern at the Rock. We'll be there at American Whiskey for Game Day Live and Devils After Dark. You may even get the Morning Woo at American Whiskey for beers for breakfast. You just don't know what might happen. There are a lot of surprises that happen at American Whiskey. It may happen tomorrow. Lawrence, good morning, fellow Devils fans. Good morning and happy Devils Saturday to you, Lawrence. But this Colorado Devils series early on, I mean, we're talking October. Well, it's going to be a ruckus atmosphere tomorrow. And it has to be. You have to treat this like a playoff game. In my mind, these are 2 elite teams right now that are going to battle for 4 points. But could these 2 elite teams, the New Jersey Devils and the Colorado Avalanche, who won the Stanley Cup in 2022, could these 2 teams meet in the Stanley Cup Finals like they did in 2001? I'm still not over those finals. That final. Back in 2001. Robert Isaacson says, we went from football helmet last night to neck brace. Did Sam talk to Saul Goodman? It's an inside joke, folks. I'm looking for the law offices of AJ Visco. Just an inside joke. Those that know. But yeah, this is a good one, folks. And I just don't like it. It's a 1 p.m. start. I like night games because it seems like the fans are more amped up. Whereas a 1 p.m. game, you're kind of like, just rolling out of bed, go to American whiskey, have some eggs, have some sausages. You know, they even have like some amazing morning soup. Maybe I should do the morning woo from American whiskey. I gotta call Frank and Kevin about that. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's the early part of the season, and we're talking two elite teams going at it, and home and home, you got to treat it like a playoff series. And this is good experience and practice for the New Jersey Devils. Put them to the test. Aside from Carolina, the home opener, the Devils have passed the test. 7 for 7. Don LaGreca, I know MSG Social Network's social media team, they're really, harping on it, but he's 7-0 as the Devils broadcaster. Remember, the first game was on ESPN, and John Butchergross was doing that game. Tells you something. Yeah, and I also don't like that as well. Robert Isaacson, you make a great point. It is an NFL Sunday. The Giants are playing the Eagles in Philadelphia. My nephew asked, maybe we could go to that game, and it's like, I got to be at the Devils Colorado Avalanche game, and that's the unfortunate timing. The cross pollination of sports. Last night, the Blue Jays beat the Los Angeles Dodgers last night at when we were at American Whiskey, and again, it's nice to have sports at all times, but I just hate it when there's scheduling conflicts. Absolutely hate it because I'm torn. Like, I actually want to see the Giants-Eagles game, so now I got to DVR it. At the same time, in today's age, it's I'll know what's going on real time with the alerts on your phone. So it kind of sucks in some respect. But last night, the Devils did what they needed to do to win. They will play San Jose, I believe, Thursday this upcoming week, because they're going to play Colorado Sunday, and then they play Colorado again in Denver on Tuesday, and I believe they are playing San Jose on that Thursday. I should probably check the schedule. Somebody help me out in the live chat if I'm correct on that. I'm just doing it based on memory. And on top of that, then, the Devils are that West Coast swing. That's also challenging. But right now, I'm pretty confident about this Devils team. They're going to be very competitive when they're out there. And that's their first test, being on the road, really away from the East Coast. And you know what? Have some confidence. I mean, that one year when the Devils had 112 points, they were literally annexing Canada and the West Coast. I think the only team they really didn't beat was Seattle and Winnipeg. And basically, I think both games were on the second half of a back-to-back. Again, NHL scheduling. Yeah, so Scotty of SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and Devils After Dark is going to have his hands full because that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, L.A. and Anaheim. We'll see if he can actually get out there. Let's see here. Colorado Sharks, Kings, Ducks. Yep. Thank you, Tom. But what a victory yesterday over the Sharks. And what I mean by that is they made the adjustments. They didn't play a perfect game. Dick Villano, when asked, what grade would you give the Devils' effort, he basically said a B-. Again, they did what they needed to do to get the victory over San Jose. But it's nice to see Dougie Hamilton get involved offensively. But he's really kind of Scott Stevens-esque, kind of changed his game a bit. Have you seen him defensively? He's much better than he had been when he first got to the Devils. And again, Jake Allen made some key saves, only gave up one goal, and that was in the first period. Unfortunately, it was a power play goal by Eklund, and assisted by Celebrini, and the streak over for 21 consecutive penalty kills, but the Devils shut it down from then on out, and Jake Allen, there were a couple flurries in front of his net. Remember, Chicago, San Jose Sharks can score goals, and they can skate. They're just a young rebuilding team. But Jake Allen made some key saves in the third period, and Devils win. Defense, defense, defense. And I love how Sheldon Keefe and the team made the adjustments. They did that against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And remember, there was a period of time, even before Sheldon Keefe's time, where the second period was the worst period for the Devils. I couldn't understand it. Is it because, the line changes were on the other end of the ice, the long changes? But the Devils made the adjustments. And Robert says, I think anytime you hold a team to 0 shots in a period, that is a solid effort. Oh, yeah, because the Devils had to respond. You were down 1-0 at one point. You were down 1-0. You have to shut down the opposition. And they clamped it down. Now you don't have to work and exert so much energy and force offensively that you can play a more efficient game. It's an 82-game schedule. You don't want to wear yourself out by December. Maybe that's what happened last season, where by the time they got to the end of December, then things started to slow down quite a bit. Injuries happened. Devils were in survival mode. They were able to pick it up towards the end once Jacob Markstrom came back and kind of limp to the playoffs. But unfortunately lost in 5 games to Carolina, but there were a series of injuries in that game 1. And I think right now is the Devils have to keep themselves healthy. But they've got a deep bench right now. They've got tremendous amount of depth on all categories. I mean, you've got 3 goaltenders right now. Nico Daws played very well against Minnesota. He played very well. Well enough where you can rely on him as that third string goaltender. You hope it doesn't get to that point, but look, he's been there before. He's 1-0 in the season. Defensively, Seamus Casey's out. Kovacevic is out. Still, the Devils have a lot of depth. When they come back, that's a deep team. And you can roll 4 lines. Dananoff is out. Cody Glass is out. Stefan Nason in. Caleb Hallinan. Glenn Denning is doing well on faceoffs. Paul Cotter. Connor Brown. Bottom 6 is good. You can roll 4 lines. And it takes the pressure and the wear and tear off of the big 4. Bratt, Meyer, Hughes, and Heischer. That's a team concept, folks, and you need to play that team concept if you want to challenge for the Stanley Cup. Durango Steve said Timo was the beast in the third. Yeah, and did you hear those Timo chants? I'll tell you, it's great because New Jersey Devils fans love the blue-collar, lunch pail mentality, going to work and doing the dirty work and setting a presence in front of the crease. I talked about being territorial. That's what I mean about being territorial. Timo Meyer knocking the San Jose defenseman, a big one, by the way, on his ass and was not going to have any of it. That's what we need to see out of the players. Once you establish your territory in the zone, puck possession, puck management, protecting the puck, time of possession with the puck. Not only is that great offense and smart hockey, but it's also great defense because you can't score if the puck is in the offensive zone. The opponent can't score on you if you're holding on to the puck. And you can wear them down. And eventually mistakes are made, and that's when you have to capitalize and finish. Tom says Casey is in Utica right now. Robert Isaacson says, yes, the Timo chants came through on TV. 17 shots, giving up 1 power play goal to a talented player. Damn good game, says Lawrence Eck. Durango C says, I'm having Taylor ham, egg, cheese on a toasted roll, listening to the podcast in the beautiful sun, and the Devils are on fire. Yes. Tom says, Timo had the nasty Rocky snarl in the third. Yeah, it kind of reminded me when, he hit Ivan Drago or kind of, after the bell in that second round in Rocky 4. And he just, drove him to the ground like a wrestler. Durango C said, I read that right. Yes, it is Taylor ham, folks. It was never really called pork roll till the FDA got involved in 1906. And you're telling me that the FDA was created in 1906 and that's the first thing that they try to change? Something's fishy there. Anyway. What else? Well, we'll see if there's any news. We'll have the Woo report this afternoon. If there's no news, if it's quiet, then I'll have to see if I'm going to do the morning Woo from American Whiskey or not. But yeah, and I'm sure they're going to have breakfast menus at American Whiskey. It's actually, the breakfasts are pretty good there. Metalander says, can someone explain the offside call on the second San Jose goal? Goal waved off, clock reset, but the penalty counts. Confused. Metalander, Nick Villano explained that on Devils After Dark after the game. I hate to explain it because I'm a little confused as well. So go back to that podcast when Nick comes on Devils After Dark. He explained it very, very eloquently and well. But he basically, I can't even explain it, to be honest. But listen to that podcast. That's what I would suggest. Tom, I'll see you there tomorrow. I haven't bought a burrito yet at the game, but I don't think I need to, because all I have to do is say hello to Rachel Herzog and the Devils win. Durango says it's Taylor Ham right on the table. It literally says Taylor Ham. Anyway, RFM Jr. says the FDA broke up a monopoly by the Taylor Company. Durango Steve says Sinatra called it Taylor Ham. You get your eyes checked. What's that supposed to mean? All right. Well, I did tell you that, the bifocal thing is really driving me nuts. I can't even read numbers anymore. Robert says, Nick said basically the intent of the rule was to prevent players from taking intentional penalties if they knew that there was an offside call. That's a good explanation. I couldn't really explain it as well, but that's a very good explanation on that. Alrighty, well, time to take the ceremonial sip. The ceremonial sip, and I just got word that my good friend, coming over the wire, just texting me right now, that my friend Moose, Rebecca Morse, Isabel Cup champion, and former NWHL and PHF. Is it PHF? I forgot what it is. PWH. I don't know what league it is now. Is coming to the game. So maybe she'll stop by at the big stage tomorrow on the podcast. I'll have to ask her. That's very good. And Durango says I'm truly a horrible human being who cannot read. Well, I just read what you just said. Anyway. Alrighty. Well, let's see here. Robert said, I had a hard time understanding that play as well until Nick walked us through that rule. Isn't it great that Nick now, he used to live in Tampa when we started this podcast, Day of the Fan Address, with pucksandpitchforks.com, and now he lives in Jersey. He moved back. Now he's credentialed. It's great because I don't know why. I've had press credentials before. I don't know. I'd rather be doing this and not have to worry about what I have to say. I just say it. And I think you guys could appreciate that as well. Durango C says Nick did a great job explaining. I could not figure out what was going on before listening to him. Yeah, I'm glad that Nick explained it because, if you were to ask me, I would just tell you the NHL's rigged. You hear about the NBA scandal. You know what's funny? I was reading a New York Post article, and I actually know a couple of people that were indirectly involved. Not involved, but just indirectly involved. That had nothing to do with the betting part, but just, somewhat indirectly involved. It's really wild, about that whole NBA betting scandal. And, in the age of sports betting, you have to question everything because it's like sometimes these calls these refs make. Now, I would love to give them the benefit of the doubt every single time, but it's always in your mind when, especially in the NBA, when they had a referee, was it Tim Donaghy, that got caught, fixing games. So, and it's not fair to the fans that pay good money to watch, what's expected is a fair match, Durango C says I tell the truth. That I have a lot of good friends. Thank you, Durango. I appreciate that. All right, well, we're going to get out of here on the Morning Woo. So we're going to do the ceremonial sip where we hold our mugs high. It says something here. It says something latte. Can't read it back there. Oh, I love you latte. Or maybe we should have a mug that says I hate you Palate Day. Anyway, alrighty. I agree with you, Lawrence. Legalized sports betting is horrible for fans. Yeah, I mean, I don't like sports betting. It just takes the fun out of sports. If I were to do sports betting, I would treat it like trading stocks with no emotion and rational decisions based on percentages and odds and favorability. Yes, Tim, Robert Iverson said, Tim was 15 years ago, and there was another player faking injuries, and 2 years ago under prop bets. NBA has a serious problem. Yeah, it is a serious problem. You know, it's the integrity of sports. I mean, for years, we've heard that the NBA was rigged, especially during the Michael Jordan era, because Michael Jordan, say what you want about him in basketball, but he's probably one of the greatest marketers of all time. And they protected him. Like, you could just sneeze on him and it would be a foul. You know, and but then again, back then, the NBA was extremely physical compared to nowadays. It's just like a jump shot, league. But yeah, it is a problem, and hopefully they can catch the bad guys, and we wouldn't have this problem, because the worst thing that you could have for a professional league and professional sports is that it challenges the integrity of the game. Not just hockey, but everywhere. All right, so let's do the ceremonial sip. Hold up your mugs high, because you, the Devils fan, are on a 7-game heater. Notice I'm wearing my Devils hat right now because I'm going to go around town. I'm not going to show off my great hair that I had, that great haircut from Connie Cuts in Peapack Gladstone, Connie's Barbershop. But I'm wearing my Devils hat all around town because I know we're on a 7-game heater. So I'm going to toast you, the fans, because you deserve this. And here's hoping for number 8. All right, that's it. Getting out of here. Hitting the music. I hope you enjoy your day. I'm going to drop the podcast in about 20 minutes. Durango C said, Mrs. Wu just called me. She said, let him keep talking. He has no chores to do because the house is clean. I can't believe what you're saying, Durango Steve, but thank you. Thank you very much. And I love the winning streak. I'll see you tomorrow on the next Morning Woo. And Game Day Live, Devils After Dark, after the game. And then, of course, the Sunday edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast, quadruple header Sunday, tomorrow, when the Devils take on the Colorado Avalanche. Till next time, this is the Morning Woo. Let's go Devils.
More